Welcome, my YouTube friends. Tell me, have you ever felt small, a little lost, like you're walking a long dirt road with nothing but a stubborn dream in your back pocket? If that's you, today's story belongs to you as much as it does to Alan Jackson. Because Alan started with almost nothing. A tool shed for a bedroom, a $50 guitar, and the same doubts you and I carry. Yet he turned those doubts into songs the whole world now sings. So stay with me, listen, feel, and let this journey remind you that the miles you're walking can still lead somewhere bright. Above all, keep chasing that neon rainbow.
Act 1. Broken Beginnings.
He enters the world on October 17, 1958, fifth child and only son of Joseph and Ruth Jackson in Newnan, Georgia, a mill town small enough that everybody waves from the porch and big enough that nicknames, gossip, and dreams travel faster than pickup trucks. Their house, if you dare call it that, is a tool shed jury-rigged into a one-room home perched against a chinaberry tree. No insulation, no indoor plumbing, barely enough roof to keep summer storms from drenching the beds. At night, the children, Diane, Kathy, Carol, Connie, and tiny Alan, sleep crosswise so everyone fits. Yet the shack brims with harmony. Ruth hums Baptist hymns while she fries fatback, sisters layer church choir harmonies while they hang washing, and little Alan, shy as a field mouse, crawls under the kitchen table just to be closer to the sound. Music, he'll recall, felt like somebody opening a window so hope could sneak in on the breeze. School is another universe. He is painfully tall, painfully thin, painfully quiet. Bullies mispronounce his last name into jeers. He retreats to the library and to lyrics. He copies Hank Williams lines in the margins of math homework. "I'm so lonesome I could cry." The words are simple, the emotion colossal. They teach him early that plain talk can break hearts more cleanly than poetry. At 14, he spends an entire summer mowing lawns, raking leaves, and loading lumber at the sawmill to earn $50 for a used Silvertone guitar with action high enough to saw cheese. His fingers bleed, but by Labor Day, he can thrum 3 chords and an attitude. Neighborhood kids cluster around, stomping pine straw as makeshift applause. Dixie Steele is born, a garage band that rehearses in friend Jimmy Smith's carport because the Jackson yard is too cramped for amplifiers. They cover Alabama, Merle, the Eagles, stumble through their own tunes with titles like Lake Redneck Lullaby. Sound terrible, feel invincible. Then comes Denise. Sophomore geometry, second row, freckles like stardust across her nose, laughter bright enough to bounce off blackboards. She smells of magnolia shampoo and possibility. Alan is so tongue-tied, he pretends to borrow a pencil just to say hello. She corrects his homework answers, teases his bashful grin, believes in a destiny larger than Newnan. By 19, they swap class rings for wedding bands, string crepe paper in a borrowed fellowship hall, and vow to chase whatever God and grit will give. Money? Scarce. He pumps gas, sells shoes, loads freight. She waits tables at Burger Chef, then lands a marketing job at the local credit union. Their budget is held together with coupons and faith. Paychecks vanish into rent, cheap macaroni, and gas for occasional Friday night gigs at VFW halls smelling of cigarette smoke and spilled Keystone beer. Yet on their refrigerator door, and this is important, friend, Denise tapes a Polaroid of the Grand Ole Opry stage. Underneath, she scrawls 3 words in blue pen. When, not if. 5 years later, fate rewards her audacity. Denise trains as a flight attendant for Piedmont Airlines. On a slow layover inside Atlanta's Old Hartsfield terminal, she spots country legend Glen Campbell strolling toward Gate C-14 in cowboy boots and a suede jacket. Heart in her throat, she intercepts him, thrusting Alan's homemade demo cassette into his surprised hands, blurting, "My husband is the next big thing. Please listen." Glen laughs kindly, pockets the tape, promises nothing. 2 weeks later, an executive at Campbell's publishing company calls the Jackson apartment. "We've got space for a songwriter in Nashville. When can Alan start?" They sell the Chevy, clothes into cardboard boxes, and rent a basement-level flat south of Music Row that shares walls with cockroaches and dreams of 1,000,000 guitar pickers. Alan stocks shelves at Kmart by dawn, sorts fan mail for the Nashville network by day, scribbles song ideas on packing slips, hard work, heartache, honest living, highway lines. Denise buys peanut butter crackers so he can skip lunch breaks and keep writing. They own one functional lamp and a second-hand Telecaster. Hope lights both. Some evenings, Alan walks to the Opry House, stands outside the loading dock just to feel the rumble of applause through concrete. He promises himself he'll earn that roar, not with rhinestones or synth drums or whatever pop gloss radio currently favors, but with stories that sound like front porch talk and Saturday night fun. "Keep chasing that neon rainbow," he murmurs, a private mantra no one yet hears.
Act 2. Neon Breakthrough.
The dam bursts in 1990. Here in the real world spins on country stations coast to coast, its title track lamenting a heart that didn't read the fairy tale ending. The song cracks top 5. Critics praise its fiddle-soaked sincerity. Walmart clerks in Amarillo hum it while stocking dog food. Alan's drawl sounds old as red clay and fresh as morning coffee, a combination radio didn't know it needed. A month later, Wanted, a tongue-in-cheek ballad built on an Old West wanted poster metaphor, confirms he isn't a one-hit wonder. A third single, Chasin' That Neon Rainbow, becomes his autobiography in 3 minutes. An Opry star dreamin' in a city made of stars. Fans who've never set foot in Georgia feel every mile of that longing. Fame surges like a stage-light sunrise. He tours with Randy Travis, signs hats until Sharpies run dry, and learns to sleep on a vibrating bus bunk. At each stop, he calls Denise, whispers gratitude, recounts mishaps, fog machines jamming, boots lost in Kansas, stagehands misspelling his name on the marquee, Alan with an E like the wrench. 1992's sophomore album, Don't Rock the Jukebox, detonates expectations. The title cut, written after Alan literally leaned against a bar jukebox and felt it tilt, rockets to #1. It preaches a simple gospel: keep country country. The message resonates. Cassette copies rattle inside every Ford F-150 cup holder between Birmingham and Boise. The album sells 2 million in a year. Somewhere in rural Ohio, a farmer proposes over the slow dance sway of midnight in Montgomery. Somewhere in Florida, a Marine ships out with Someday tucked in his duffel. Music, Alan realizes, is not just entertainment, it's memory glue. But success tests the seams of any marriage. Interview schedules conflict with anniversaries. Tabloids sniff for scandal. Loneliness prowls backstage corridors. In 1997, after 18 years of vows, Alan betrays Denise's trust. The wound cuts deep. Rumors swirl. She moves out, heartsick but not hateful. Stripped of home comfort, he sleeps on the bus couch, strums melancholy chords, Praise the phone will ring. It doesn't. For 4 stomach-knot months, they live in separate gravitational orbits. He cancels interviews, writes apology letters that never feel big enough. She sees a counselor, seeks God, weighs forgiveness against self-respect. Finally, on a rain-glossed November evening, they meet at a quiet cafe near Brentwood. No entourage, no lawyers, just 2 high school sweethearts with scarred hopes. They talk until closing time, confessing, crying, choosing grace. Outside, under a flickering street lamp, Denise tells him they can rebuild, brick by brick, if he understands love is a verb, not a lyric. He nods, shaky but resolute. They drive home together in silence, fingers interlaced on the console, a single word pulsing under their breath: reconcile. The renewal births art. In 2002, Drive drops, an album steeped in reflection. Its title track honors Daddy Gene teaching teenage Alan to steer a faded Ford down dirt lanes. Verses pause, chorus soars, nostalgia becomes national catharsis. Fathers take sons fishing just to play the song on lake speakers. Sales skyrocket, 400,000 week 1, quadruple platinum eventual. Somewhere in rural Ohio, a farmer proposes over the slow dance sway of midnight in Montgomery. Somewhere in Florida, a Marine ships out with Someday tucked in his duffel. Music, Alan realizes, is not just entertainment, it's memory glue. But success tests the seams of any marriage. Interview schedules conflict with anniversaries. Tabloids sniff for scandal. Loneliness prowls backstage corridors. In 1997, after 18 years of vows, Alan betrays Denise's trust. The wound cuts deep. Rumors swirl. She moves out, heartsick but not hateful. Stripped of home comfort, he sleeps on the bus couch, strums melancholy chords. Prays the phone will ring. It doesn't. For 4 stomach-knot months, they live in separate gravitational orbits. He cancels interviews, writes apology letters that never feel big enough. She sees a counselor, seeks God, weighs forgiveness against self-respect. Finally, on a rain-glossed November evening, they meet at a quiet cafe near Brentwood. No entourage, no lawyers, just 2 high school sweethearts with scarred hopes. They talk until closing time, confessing, crying, choosing grace. Outside, under a flickering street lamp, Denise tells him they can rebuild, brick by brick, if he understands love is a verb, not a lyric. He nods, shaky but resolute. They drive home together in silence, fingers interlaced on the console, a single word pulsing under their breath: reconcile. The renewal births art. In 2002, Drive drops, an album steeped in reflection. Its title track honors Daddy Gene teaching teenage Alan to steer a faded Ford down dirt lanes. Verses pause, chorus soars, nostalgia becomes national catharsis. Fathers take sons fishing just to play the song on lake speakers. Sales skyrocket, 400,000 week 1, quadruple platinum eventual. Then the unimaginable rewrites the world. September 11, 2001. Like millions, Alan watches the towers fall on a bunkhouse TV, speechless. Weeks later, he dreams he's walking through mist. Questions echo. Where were you? Did you know? Did you cry? He wakes at 4 a.m., scribbles lyrics while tears blur ink. Where were you when the world stopped turning? Debuts live at the CMA Awards. No rehearsal, just acoustic guitar and nerves thrumming louder than the monitor mix. Verse by verse, the audience stills. Artists, ushers, sound techs wiping eyes. When the final line quiets, faith, hope, and love are some good things he gave us, but the greatest is love. Silence stays thick for 5 full seconds before crashing applause breaks like a levee. Critics call it the hymn America needed. Grammy voters agree. Best country song, Song of the Year. Alan shrugs, says, "I just wrote what my heart felt." Between arena dates, he sneaks into small honky-tonks under fake names to test new material. Loves watching couples twirl to songs they don't realize the singer wrote 10 minutes ago. Fame might rent helicopters and designer boots, but authenticity still rides shotgun in a dusty Silverado. By 2006, his resume swells. Dozens of number ones, 75 million record sales, CMA Entertainer of the Year thrice, Hall of Fame whispers. He buys a lake house an hour from Newnan so nieces and nephews can swim where loons call at dawn. Yet he keeps his mother's phone number on speed dial, slot number 1, and mails her handwritten postcards from every tour stop, because that's what good sons do. Throughout, the mantra never fades. Backstage, before each encore, he fists the brim of his white resistol hat and murmurs, "Keep chasin' that neon rainbow." The crew repeat it like liturgy. House lights drop, the band hits a steel guitar swell, thousands roar a welcome deeper than thunder.
Act 3. The Long Goodbye.
But storms gather quietly. Sometime around 2010, Alan notices his toes tingling after long shows. At first, he blames boots, too tight, stages too cold. Soon, the numbness climbs his calves, balance falters on stairways. Doctors run tests. Verdict: Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, an inherited neuropathy that weakens muscles and steals sensation. There is no cure, only exercises and hope. Alan tells almost no one. Pride? Maybe. Mostly he refuses pity. Audiences deserve energy, not excuses. Behind the scenes, he adapts. Custom boots with extra support, set lists trimmed to ease fatigue, stools positioned strategically for ballads. On stage, he jokes, "I'm getting older, but I ain't slowing down," then winks, because the joke hides truth sharp as barbed wire. Denise, rock steady, massages cramped calves, researches supplements, reminds him illness can't cancel calling. 2017 brings formal immortality, induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Wearing a black suit that smells faintly of cedar and fresh starch, Alan stands beneath bronze plaques of his own heroes, Cash, Haggard, Williams, and clears a lump from his throat. "I'm just a singer of simple songs," he tells the crowd, voice trembling, "but God keeps blessin' me bigger than I deserve." Later, alone in the rotunda, he whispers thanks to Daddy Gene's memory and presses his palm against the cool metal of his own likeness, astonished it's real. 3 years later, COVID shutters stages worldwide. Empty venues echo like ghosts, road cases collect dust. Alan spends quarantine on the porch, strumming, fishing, missing band jokes, writing a batch of front porch philosophy songs that may never meet label committees. He also grapples with truth. The neuropathy is worsening. Foot drop trips him on flat floors. Some mornings, zipping jeans feels like wrestling barbed wire. In 2021, he decides secrecy serves no one. On NBC's Today, he tells the world about CMT, the disease, not the television network. "I'm not dying, but it's getting hard to stand in one place and sing." Fans flood social media with prayers, stories of their own battles, promises to cherish every future concert. Compassion becomes a two-way river. So he plans one last trek, last call, one more for the road. a tour meant to taste every corner of gratitude. Kicking off in June 2022 in Biloxi, roaring through Phoenix heat, Boston drizzle, and Brasilia's tropical midnight. Yes, he adds South America for love of a global fan base. The shows sell out within hours. Each night he grins at the throng, steadies himself on the mic stand, and says, "Let's make another memory." Fans obliged, singing so loudly he can rest his voice halfway. Late 2024, during an encore in Seattle, he nearly falls when his right ankle buckles. Guitar tech Bruce rushes out, steadying him. Alan jokes, "Well, that's the most attention my feet ever got." The crowd laughs, tension dissolves. But backstage he confesses he's scared. Denise wipes sweat from his brow, whispers, "Finish strong, cowboy." May 2nd, 2025, Frisco, Texas, Academy of Country Music Awards. Reba McEntire reads a glowing citation and hands Alan the Lifetime Achievement Honor. Standing center stage under white gold spotlights, he grips the statuette like it's 1985 and he's still sorting mail. Voice quivering, he thanks radio, road crews, songwriters, sisters, then turns to Denise seated front row in a silver gown. "You kept me chasing that rainbow when the sky looked empty," he says. Camera lenses blur with moisture. Twitter erupts in heart emojis. Somewhere, a kid in a toolshed picks up a $50 guitar because impossible suddenly feels possible. The farewell leg wraps 2 weeks later in Nashville's Bridgestone Arena. Final song, "Remember When." Mid-bridge, the band drops volume. The audience, every single soul, carries the chorus a cappella. "Remember when 30 seemed so old, now looking back it's just a stepping stone." Alan closes his eyes, lets their voices wash hurt and pride alike. When the last chord fades, he lifts the hat, salutes, whispers a raw thank you, and exits into darkness, where applause feels like ocean surf.
Epilogue. Legacy and Lesson.
Numbers can't hug you, but they testify. 75 million records sold, 35 Billboard #1 hits, 2 Grammys, 16 CMAs, 18 ACMs, countless songwriting trophies. His music pumped through neon jukeboxes during first kisses, through scratchy speakers at funerals, through earbuds of soldiers on foreign soil who needed a slice of home. But the legacy that matters curls around quieter moments. Cutting a check for CMT research so kids inherit fewer shaky steps. Inviting opening acts to eat hot chicken at his house after shows because he remembers peanut butter suppers. Handwriting set lists for charity auctions. Reading the Bible aloud with Denise on picnic blankets by lake water that glimmers like chrome. Now, picture that 2-lane Georgia highway again. The boy is older, hair silvering beneath the white hat, gait slower, but spirit fierce. He stands by that same mailbox, guitar slung low, and waves you onward. "The road is yours now," he says without words. "The chords are 3, and the truth is 15,000. Hard work, heartbreak, honest living, highway lines." Friends, the older Alan gets, the better country sounds. But the older you get, the richer your own story can ring. Poverty cannot background noise your melody. Illness cannot mute your mission. Shame cannot outrun forgiveness. Whether you teach English, drive trucks, raise children, or nurse a fragile dream on a second-hand guitar, you have verses left to write. So share this story with someone gasping for hope. Replay it to shadow read the idioms, the phrasal verbs, the cadence of Southern humility. Let it sharpen your English, sure, but more importantly, let it tune your courage. And when doubt taps your shoulder, remember the words that lit one shy kid's path from a tool shed to a hall of fame. Keep chasing that neon rainbow.